So, as the headline notes, DCEU ends with a whimper as Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom gets a low-key fan screening in place of their premiere.
Oh, wow.
And it's literally
premiere. Amazing. That's
this
how
just
much
gets worse and worse.
It's super lame as well. So there's no red carpet premiere, no after party. It's a very small pre-reception, a fan screening. Jason Momoa and James Wan are at the Grove. And that's it. That's it.
That's dying with a whimper right there. Yeah, you know what?
I'll tell you what. It's to me, it's incredibly telling because they don't have any confidence in it, and it's not a case of not spending any money. I mean, the thing is that they know if they were to make this a big deal, that they're going to give the impression that they've got confidence and faith in the movie and it's worth going to see. Them doing this puts a massive damper on that, I think, in PR. Like there's nothing there. Anyway, that's my sort of 2 cents on it. Just they will make this a bigger bomb than it was going to be, I think.
You know what?
Sorry,
I respect that, because you know what? Like, they're not trying to make something an event out of something they know there is no hope. There's no hope for it.
They're mitigating costs at this point.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, you know what? We are contractually obligated to put it in so and so many theaters. We're going to do that, but we're not going to do anything to try to push this, because then it's just going to look all the more embarrassing when it bombs even worse than the Marvels. And you all know what? You go keep your Godzilla 1, because I'm seeing this movie tomorrow. So yeah, there.
Why be excited for this though? I get it, but
I am not remotely jealous
for it. I'm not excited
for it. Tell us how bad it is.
Go and watch it. I don't think anyone's jealous of you there, mate.
See this way, I would much rather take the flight over to the UK, see Godzilla there, and get shit-faced with you afterwards.
There, there. I mean, it's just look. So, what I thought was funny as well on this is that they even have. Look at them. They're just leaning against the wall. Just leaning against the wall, the tridents. Just leaning against the wall. And they've got the embargo. Where was it? He replied to someone. So it's embargoed until Thursday morning.
Really?
Wow, so day of release?
Yeah, so fucking garbage.
So basically that means that I can release my review prior to the embargo lifting.
Yep.
Yeah. But what does that say to you, right? The embargo's that close to release?
They know they've got a piece of shit on their hands. I mean, that's obvious. We've known this for a while. We've seen the leaks. We've heard about the test screenings. That was one of the most hilarious conversations I ever had, because it was in the midst of the whole Amber Heard thing. And I kept asking, I'm like, well, what's going on with Amber in the movie? Because for a bit there, they were thinking about recasting and reshooting, because at that point, there was still a future, right? Like DeLuca and Abdi were going to try and reconfigure what they already had, to work with. At that point was the plan. And they were like, well, they had talked to Emilia Clarke, but she had turned it down. And there was another actress or two that was in, kind of in the running for the role. And the rumor was they were just going to reshoot out the scenes with Amber, because there wasn't that many anyway. And that was going to be it. But then her people got involved. I think her lawyers or something got all fucking pissy with them. And I think that's already been put out there. So that almost confirms what, we were reporting at that time pretty much. But then at the end of the day, she got pretty much cut out of the movie anyway. But when I would ask, I'd be like, well, what's going on with Amber? They'd be like, she's the least of the movie's problems. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, we've tested this thing, and it's like the lowest test scores in the history of fucking Warner Brothers. They're like, they may have been a bit hyperbolic, but they're like, yeah, Amber's not the fucking problem. The movie is. It's a piece of shit. They kept saying. It's like, it's garbage. It's just trash. It's just an expensive Frankensteinian mess, to quote Andre, basically. I know that's not what they said at the time. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah.
How a talented filmmaker like James Wan could allow that to happen.
Oh, I think he told us how that happened. He probably started from one place, and then between the controversies and the changing of the guards and everything that it had. You got to remember, this movie was made under 2 different regimes, basically, or maybe even 3.
Regimes.
Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, you have the how many different alternate cuts of this movie. And like they said, I'm on the last one, and this one was confirmed by somebody else putting it out in one of the reports where I had been told is that after one of the reshoots, the scores went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They had to keep doing loads of reshoots as well because they were like, oh, is it going to come out before or after The Flash? When's The Flash going to come out?
That was the other issue, yeah.
Oh, we're going to end it now, so there's no point having these cameos anyway. It's been a joke for
and that's where even James Wan was even confused what movie he was putting out. I think he even said something like that. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, to where he had so many different endings for this movie and which Batman was going to be in it and all this other crap was going on in the process. And, you know, that was what the studio probably was more worried about than the actual story itself, which they probably should have been. And I don't know if they have fixed it yet, but that was, you know, I heard it kind of kicks off kind of depressing. We know like Amber Heard's in the hospital through most of the movie anyway. I'm not going to even say what happens to some of the other characters because in case there are people who may want to see this or they have changed some things since the last test screening, I don't know. But yeah, it just sounds like it's a big fucking mess, and I see what they're doing here. They're just kind of mitigating the losses. But you even have Jason Momoa at this point, and hopefully I'm not jumping the gun on the story, but I mean he's basically already saying like the future of this character is not looking too hot. And when you got him saying that right before the fucking movie drops. Yeah. That's him basically telegraphing to the audience that this is it. And I noticed that when that second trailer or teaser or whatever dropped and the whole thing was this is Aquaman's last stand. I'm like, boy, that sure sounds pretty definitive there. Yeah. And you're not even pretending that you're going to continue with this shit.
Yeah.
At this point.
It's over with. It's over with.
I mean, I'm sure Momoa is just chomping at the bit to go, yes, I'm going to be fucking, I'm going to be Lobo. Okay. That's the worst kept secret in Hollywood, guys. Guess what? James Gunn said I get to be Lobo. Yeah, you know that's what's probably he's going to do like 3 months after this movie comes out on video.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A week.
It might even be sooner. You're right. I'm just giving him some time because, like, again, they don't want to stomp all over this. But I see where Andre's coming from. They're mitigating their losses here. At least this way, they can't be seen as they're not completely burying the movie, but they're not. They're clearly not, they don't have the confidence in it, and they've spent whatever money they've got right now, whatever they're going to spend on it, and they pushed it to Wonka, I bet. As soon as they seen that movie was getting the buzz it was, even if they had just a minimal amount of advertising for Aquaman, they probably pushed every last dime over to Wonka now, I bet.
I've seen a fair amount of advertising for Aquaman now, but I mean, it's not just that. I mean, again,
they may still push it internationally because didn't the first one do really well internationally? Even more so than the US.
Yeah. I have no idea why, but it did. And it was a fun movie. But why it did $1 billion? Who the hell knows?
Well, this will be the year that 2 sequels to billion-dollar movies bomb. Captain Marvel, billion-dollar movie, allegedly. The Marvels, bombs. Aquaman, billion-dollar movie. Aquaman 2, bombs. Cannot wait. Super, super funny. Not that I'm wishing it failure. I don't care. I just think it's comical that there's 2 movies to billion-dollar films that are going to flop massively. And that's
you could even argue that Indiana Jones is in that race too, because
that's true.
I'm assuming at 790 million back in 2008 with inflation is probably close to $1 billion now.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yep. So there's 3 right there, and then you could almost consider Flash a quasi sequel to the Batman films that had Michael Keaton in them. Yeah. With inflation, those were also $1 billion films. So there you go. Well, maybe not the second one, but damn close.
What did the second Guardians movie make?
The second one did like 900 and some million, almost close to $1 billion. It was the first one that did like 700 or 800 million, and then the third one took a little step back, like 100 million less, I think it was. That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah, 869.8 million.
I was close. See,
yeah, not bad, not bad. Well, anyway, Colchi, got anything else to add to this, Nick?
Other than I have to see this piece of garbage sometime on Thursday afternoon.
I will never watch it, ever.
I have to see it. I'm supposed to do a review on it. So
fair. I've got to watch it as well, so we can all, you know, hate the movie together. I guess if it's garbage anyway, which probably will be, but we shall see. Hopefully not. Who knows?